Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very beautiful traditional look in the honor of Janmashtami. I've already prepped my skin with a moisturizer and now I'm going to be using my NYX Illuminator Want to Glow in the shade Sunbeam. It really gives a beautiful glow on the skin. I'm going to be starting with my eye makeup first and prepping my eyelids. We do a nice base. It's gonna be light. I'm not gonna layer too much product on, but it has to be on properly and has to be blended nicely, and that is how. So this will give you a very even base for your eyeshadows, and the colors, the exact colors will show up on your eyes. I'm going to be using the This Is All I Need eyeshadow palette from Tan Beauty. I'm going to mark my crease. Now how am I marking my crease? Wherever my lash line touches my eyelid, that's where my crease is. I'm gonna mark it. So this is a very pigmented palette, so I'm gonna go in slow and then build the color. Okay, now that my crease is set, I am going to be taking so this is the color I use first, which is called Bed of Roses, and Pow Wow is the second color that I'll be using. Very little bit of it right below the pink. Just to create a little more defined crease. I'm using everything very sparingly. Okay, and I'm just going to blend out any harsh edges. I'm going to go in with this shade. It's a little magenta kind of a shade. It's called Pinot Noir, wine magenta, whatever you want to call it. And just place a little bit of it on both the outer corners. That's it. I'm going in with two shades of Urban Decay. One of them is Half Baked and the other one is Space Cowboy. First I'm going to start with the Half Baked and open in the center. So I have to do a makeup that is not very obvious, so I'm gonna not load on things. I'm just going to make them as glowy as possible instead of adding too much color. Okay, and the Space Cowboy, which is kind of a very beautiful shimmery color, I'm going to pop that right in the center of my lid, just for an extra glowy shade. Now this is going to be a Janmashtami transition, but however you can use this for any function because it's going to be a very wearable look. I'm trying to do a Radha Rani look. It has to be a very no makeup kind of a look. I'm going to do one thin line of eyeliner and see where that goes. And of course I'm using the Maybelline Colossal. She's said to have, Kishori ji is said to have very extremely beautiful eyes, extraordinary eyes, but of course we cannot match her beauty. So let us just do our best. Going with the foundation, this is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Foundation in the shade Butter Pecan. Getting some on my hand. First just dabbing everything on because this product is very wet, but I just love how flawless this skin looks. I'm gonna be using the e.l.f. concealer in the shade medium neutral. That is too much concealer, by the way, so let me assure you this is not what I'm going to use. I'm going to add a little bit of peach corrector in the center of the eye. Okay. Because I forgot to correct a little bit around my mouth and nose. Okay, that's it. We're going to contour. Old school contour style, the V below your cheekbone rising up to the temple. Okay. There, and of course slightly, and I'm going to be using my favorite from e.l.f. Bora Bora. I'm going to be using quite a lot of it since it's a very blushy look. I hope I'm in frame. I can't see much. The camera is far and so is my mirror. Yep. I think this is a good amount of blush. Just applied a little bit on areas I think needs blending. I've not blended my blush yet, but now I will be using my concealer. So why am I doing this? It gives you a very glow from within kind of a look when you blend your blush with your concealer. So blending everything in properly. Make sure your sponge is not very wet. It is slightly damp. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty setting powder to set my face with the same damp sponge. I know a lot of people are doing powder puffs. There are so many. There's sponge, there's powder, there's sponge, there's puff, there's brush, there is fingers, there's no powder setting. So many concepts, but I have always preferred using it with the damp sponge. It deposits the necessary amount of powder and picks up what's extra. Using the Bed of Roses eyeshadow from the same eyeshadow palette that I use on my eyes, and I'm going to take very little bit of it because of course eyeshadows are more pigmented than blushes, and I'm going to deposit it right here on the apple of my cheek, and I'm going to blend out the rest. I'm going to use the clean side of the brush to blend it under my eyes. And whatever is left, just dusting it off. Okay, this is how you get a very seamless blush. Even if you do this with an actual blush and not an eyeshadow, it works wonders. Okay, apple of my cheek. Remember that this is not a very contoury sculpted look. This is a very blushy look. I have hardly seen goddesses contour, not that they need it. Using my contour kit from ABH, I am going to add contour because the goddesses may not need contour, but I definitely do. So adding some, it's super subtle. but I want it to look very, very blended and not patchy. There. Okay. And yeah. For it. Add kajal in my waterline, and I'm gonna let it spill a little bit. So blending the lower lash line with the clean brush. A lot of people do not do completely skip lower lash line, but the point of doing lower lash line is for the makeup to look complete. Makeup always looks kind of incomplete without the lower lash line, especially if you have big eyes. Even if you don't want to do anything intricate, just apply a little kajal or just dust on some dark eyeshadow under your eyes and you'll be set. So I'm going to be using this teal color. I'm going to apply it with the straight edged brush. You can see this here. Okay, that way I can just place it. I'm not going inside the waterline, I'm placing it on the lash line. Be very careful and use good quality eyeshadows for this. After this, I'm going to do my brows and finish up with lashes. I'm just going to fix my eyeliner because I don't like it. I'm going to be using the PAC Brow Artist. I'm going to start with the front of the brows and go on vertical lines. Very, very little product. Again, front of the brows and vertical lines. Okay, that gives you a nice, kind of a blendy look for your eyebrows instead of your heavily lined eyebrows, which look really boring. Boxy in the front is so out. Okay, and then just lightly filling in because I don't really need to fill anything in, but I don't like how it looks in pictures without the filling in, especially when I have a full face on. And I do like to work on eyebrows. When I didn't have any microbleeding on, I could spend hours on brows. Okay, and I have to put on lenses, which I forgot to do. Be very careful when you put on lenses after you have your eye makeup on. So I just don't touch the lashes. I use the applicator directly to pick up the lash. Pick it up on the applicator. Hold my lashes up and look at the opposite side. Rotate my eye slowly and carefully and let it go. A little bit more pink and blend it out. Blending it out. Pink. And blending it out. The inner corner. And the brown one, of course. You can even use a highlighter here, that's not a problem. I do have a shimmer shade that looks really beautiful, so I even use the shimmer shade as a highlighter sometimes. Okay, good. This lens is dual colored, so I have to keep adjusting it. I'm going to use a set that I used previously, because why waste? Setting the belt in so that it fits perfectly on my eyes. Prep, prep, prep. And right in the center, lock. And lock. I think this looks good. A client asked me, why is my lip liner blunt? The simple answer is, I do not like lines drawn. I'm already quite precise with my lip lining and I rarely go out of the line, but I like it more blended than a line, because blending that line when the lip liner is set is very difficult. Not impossible, but time consuming. I'm using a brown lip liner in the shade Deep Dawn from Mars. To use this lip vinyl, but I think it's gonna be too bright, so we're gonna see how it works out. I like it. Now starts the complicated part. I have no idea how this is gonna look, but I'm just praying that it does look nice.